shout out. I want to give a big shout out here to everybody. Hopefully, like I said, Savage Uger and Ian should be popping in here. I think I sent it to Savage Uger. I may have to go back in and check. But he wants to talk about the PS5 dev kit, the elite, whatever, the elite thing. So, because he wants to, I could bring a technical aspect to that. So that's cool, which is cool. That's why I got to have people on, because that's way over my head. So, but all right, guys, welcome. Welcome to Craig's Corner. This is the Messiah of Xbox. As you can see, I've got a great panel here. Got some gaming talkies. This is your quick happy hour when you got off work at 2:30 because that your 2 o'clock appointment didn't show up, or your boss let you off early, or sometimes you the boss and you just like, it's Friday. I'm gonna get on out of here, get my shopping done. And so welcome everybody who is listening now live to my voice. Welcome to the people who will come later on, and got a great panel here with us. So we'll go ahead and start from my right to go to left. So we'll start out with the real P3. Poncho, go ahead and set yourself out, young man.
Yo, what's goody, everybody? It's your boy Pablo the Third, aka the Real P3. I'll actually bring exclusives to your console. You already know. Check me out on YouTube, Pablo the Third, or hit me up on Twitter, Harlem X Poncho. I really appreciate the invite, man. Glad to be here.
No problem. And we'll go. J Dub, we'll go ahead with you. I want to save our special guest for last. Not that nobody else is not special. Don't take me wrong. But J Dub City, go ahead and shout yourself out, brother.
Hey, everybody. With Craig in the game. Let's get it.
All right. And very appreciate it. Everybody, go check out J Dub City. He was with my man Zaire last night on the Multiplayer Podcast. I think All Day Digital, the Oracle of PlayStation. He joined him, I think, for a little bit. D-Batch was on there. Shout out to everybody that was on there. But lively entertainment as only they can do it. So go check that out. Like that video, sub, but good group of guys over there, keeping it gaming, keeping it interesting. And we are joined now. I want to give this young man here a special introduction, because he was one of the first people when I got online, and he actually is a quote unquote Xbox guy. He actually was one of the first people to really speak out on the toxicity that was coming in gaming. He did this last year. No joke. And he came onto my podcast, and we had a real good conversation. And then he invited me back to his podcast. So Gamers United, brother, go ahead and you're back. Go ahead and shout yourself out, man.
What's up, gamers? It feels great to be back, Craig. Thank you for the invite. I've been gone a pretty long time, been dealing with some personal stuff, surgeries, cancer, a lot of that shit, man. But I'm back. I'm doing better now, and I'm ready to talk it up with you guys, talk about games, talk about that Xbox community. Doesn't it just seem like it's getting worse every single year? There's always something else to talk about, or some other dramatic crisis going on in the gaming world. But thanks for inviting me, man. Let's talk.
Yeah, no problem. We'll go ahead and start. Let's start with some positive Xbox news, because again, as far as I'm concerned, they're still the group that, and it's not all of them. Let me make that clear, because there's shout out to guys like Randall Thor and Fatal Mephisto that are actually, they're Xbox, they're playing their games, So I know there's other people with Xboxes that are just playing their games. But we'll start out. To me, these guys are the only ones hung up on resolution. I'll go into why I think that is a little later. But Doom, if you still play Doom, and I can't remember if Doom was a 2016 release or a 2015 release, it is allegedly, it's been confirmed. Let me put it like that. I believe it's been confirmed that it is 4K native on the Xbox. So, J-Dub, what do you think about this? And is this something that you may go out and buy now, or are you gonna just do it on your PC?
Well, that's good for them. That's good for the community, the Xbox community. They've been wanting 4K. They've been promised 4K for a couple of years now. So it's good that they finally start getting some games, whether they're old or not, that are 4K. So that's good for them. It's that's a good thing. Hopefully, this satisfies the base. As far as me, I could care less. Got it on PC and I've been playing it on the Pro. So I've been playing it in 4K. So the more the merrier is what I would say. Matter of fact, I think the best addition to me to get is the Switch because I love being able to travel, go to the airport and stuff like that, and play Doom. So
yeah. Gamers United, what do you think? Well, now they're correcting me in the chat. They're saying that it's dynamic 4K. So okay, that's fine. Maybe I read that article wrong. I thought it said let me pull that. Well, I won't pull it up, but let me just it was on Xbox, it was on Windows Central. So if you all want to go check it out. So but nevertheless, it is. Gamers United, what do you think about this? Is this good news for the Xbox community, or is it what do you think?
Well, I say it's about time, man. I mean, personally, me, I don't care. 4K, 1080p. If it's a good game, I'm going to play it. Personally, I haven't picked up Doom yet. I got a Switch about a couple months ago, so I might get it on there, actually. But me, I've been rocking the Xbox One X lately. I still got that 1080p monitor, so 4K don't really interest me too much. As long as I can play my games with my friends and have fun, to me, it don't matter what you game on, what kind of setup you got. As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. But it's good news, man. Definitely good news. Nothing to like brag about or anything. Doom isn't the be-all, end-all game. I don't think it looks too amazing, to be honest. But it's whatever.
Okay, well, cool. The real P3. What do you think, brother? Is this something that you may be getting if you get your X, or they're saying dynamic 4K can drop to 1620? According to Digital Foundry. So, okay, I stand corrected. No problem. I got no problem standing corrected. If it's dynamic 4K, it's just, it is what it is. That's fine. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's nice for people that have the X, boot it up if you got the game, or if you have the game already, boot it up and see, how it looks on your new system. But for me, I really don't care for it. I mean, I don't have the X yet. Like, for me to want to get the X, they'd have to show me new games and not, show me like a new resolution for a game. So for me, I personally don't care about it, but it's nice for the owners of the console to, get that upgrade for that game because it's a pretty fun game though.
Does anybody know that it come out in 15 or 16? Or did it come out last
16,
year?
I believe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because whenever Fallout 4 came out, I can't remember. So Hellfire. I thought Doom came out. I know they showed Doom and Fallout 4 at the Bethesda conference. I think it was E3, but I just can't remember when. But all right then, well, that's cool. That's cool. Anybody else got anything to add? Anybody in the chat? Yeah, shout out to the chat. I saw you guys, and I saw where JKS Guy Code 17 is saying that it was it's dynamic 4K. Okay, that's cool. This seems to me that a lot of the developers, when it comes to the Xbox, are choosing dynamic 4K. Big shout out to Ubisoft for getting their game to 4K native, and the other devs that are able to do that. JL, let me ask you.
Someone called it the Patchbox 1X. The Patchbox 1X.
Yeah, Savage, did you get the invite, or do I need to go ahead and invite you in? I can't remember if I was able to. If not, well, here, let me just go ahead and send it. But does anybody in the chat think that if they haven't played it, what do you all think? And hit that like button for me. This is early happy hour. Shout out to Jay Wags. He teased me a little bit on Twitter about starting early. I'm like, well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, So, but yeah. So we'll go ahead and move on. Jordan in the chat wanted us to talk. Does anybody have a comment on Spyro the Dragon that's allegedly coming out? Gamers United, is this something that you may pick up? It's supposed to be, I guess, for the Xbox.
Definitely, man. That was my childhood right there, bro. And the fact that it's coming out for Xbox, definitely gonna cop me that. September like 26th, I think it was. That's a great pickup, man. Especially since we got no exclusives this year.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
man,
P3.
but
Yeah, go ahead, P3. Go ahead, man.
oh, sorry about that, man. But
No, go ahead.
yeah, I played the game when I was a kid, at my cousin's one time, but I never like really got into it or anything like that. I didn't really understand the game because I was so young. So this is gonna be a good opportunity for me to like try it out and see what made the game so special. Back then, in the 90s, I think it came out, right? I believe on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm definitely interested in playing the game.
Yeah, that's cool. J-Dub City, I see you were muted. Go ahead and unmute yourself, brother, if you can. And what do you think about Spyro the Dragon? If you can talk right now. I know you were leaving work. All right. Well, yeah, he may be on the road. Okay, that's fine. But for all you all, Spyro the Dragon is coming out. I don't plan on buying it. I wasn't interested in it when it came out. Again, I'm a lot older than everybody. So, so to me, when it came out, I think there was other stuff out. And but shout out to that game coming back. And let me just say this about the Xbox and the PlayStation. I think they're doing a good job of reaching back and getting some of those games. You know, including you know, whatever game goes over. I mentioned this earlier how Hellblade was never a PlayStation exclusive. It launched I believe day and day on PC. No Man's Sky, I believe, launched on PC as well as PlayStation. So why there's this giant celebration when these games go over, and it's, you know, I'll come to P3, I'll come to you with this one. J-Dub is still muted. Then in Gamers United, you can jump on in, brother. Why do you think, and I may have asked you this before, why, and now that it's been a couple weeks, why do you think there's so much vitriol when a game that was supposed to go multi-plat console goes multi-plat console? What do you think?
Because it's just another game to play, man. We weren't expecting to play all these games, man. Well, for me personally, I didn't know it was a timed exclusive. Me too, like everyone else. I thought it was just a Sony console exclusive. So another game for people to pick up if you're interested in that genre of games. So more power to you if you're into that.
Yeah. Pablo, what do you think, brother? Everybody's muted.
No. I'm sorry, Craig. I told you, I was just leaving work, so I was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Nah, I got you, brother. I got you. Any opinion on? Oh yeah, he's in the elevator. Okay, that's cool. Pablo, what about you, brother? So
everybody muted, man.
Yeah, everybody's muted. All right. So for me, like I said, Spyro the Dragon for me, it's shout out to everybody that's planning on getting it, and
if it brings
back some yeah, day one for you. Okay, I was going to ask you. I also saw at the announcement not happening on the Nintendo Switch, or not, at least not yet. Do you think it comes to Switch, or do you think you'll just get it for your Xbox or your PlayStation and then double dip, go to the Switch as well? What do you think?
For the PlayStation, but I hope it comes to the Switch. I've seen some articles that say it was coming to the Switch, just at a later date.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard it's kind of like a team working on the port right now. So maybe next year.
All right. Well, I think that'll be good news. Shout out to the 40 people that are here. Hit that like button, hit the dislike button. Get your questions ready, and people in the chat. You know, you all jump in and get involved. If you plan on getting Spyro the Dragon, like J-Dub is, Pablo said he's looking to get it. And me personally, no, that doesn't mean the game's crap or it's dog shit. It just means I'm not interested in it. You know, one man's junk, another man's treasure. Like Gamers United said, the more games is good for everybody. So, you know, if it may come out and only be a $29.99 game. And at that point, you know me, that I may be able to afford that depending on what else is happening. So, but shout out to everybody who's planning on getting it. Jimmy
Get it
Kahn
on
said
Game Pass.
yeah, I saw Jimmy Kahn say he's getting it on Game Pass. So, yeah, I don't know how that works on Game Pass. I thought that was just for first party IP, but okay, if you're getting it, you're getting it.
We'll
So
find
that's
out.
cool. Cool beans, cool beans. Waiting on Savage. Savage Uger, I sent it. I sent the link to you, brother. Go ahead and jump on, and we'll move on to God of War. And yeah, and I wanted to ask one. I mean, my big question is that was the dominant headline for a lot of gamers and websites and things like that. But let me ask you, Gamers United. Let me start with you. Do you think the announcement of Spider-Man has kind of knocked God of War because that thing was a freight train rolling, so and do you think that's kind of knocked God of War off the headline there? Do you think it may affect sales? Or what do you think?
Man, I don't think it's going to affect sales. It might just take the headlines for a couple days, but as soon as that drops, people get their hands on it, start playing it. I think it'll be back up there. But, Spider-Man is just such a huge IP at this point that it's just no surprise to me that it stole the headlines right from God of War for a couple of days. It's a huge hit, man. You got Xbox people wishing it was on their platform. You got PlayStation people going crazy over that. The collectors and special editions being announced. It releasing like September 7th, I think. It's just crazy, man. It's going to kick off that fall lineup this year. And people, if you're on PlayStation, I know me, I got that Xbox. I'm kind of jealous right now. Y'all going to be playing that. But Spider-Man is just such a huge IP. It's kind of like Knack a little bit, to where it appeals to the adult audience, but more so that kid audience. Parents going to be picking that up. What do you want for Christmas, Jimmy? I want that new Spider-Man game. Of course.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's not like if a kid goes to his parents like, I want the God of War game. I don't know if it'll come across as good as like, I want the Spider-Man game. But that's what I think, man. It's gonna do great.
Yeah, I agree. It's a much larger appeal.
Oh, you're botting. You're botting, J-Dub.
The most recognizable character. So, talking about September. So, you had all this God of War hype. You got the release date coming. You got the theme console. It's coming in 2 weeks. But then on top of that, they dropped, the whole Spider-Man thing. So now the whole narrative is talking about that. This is Sony slowly and calculatingly releasing this information. So this is, I mean, I don't think it's going to affect, it has anything negative to do with God of War. That's solidified. The people who are going to get that game already have their minds made up. It's not like they have to determine which game they're going to buy. They're releasing months and months. It's just that awareness that this is the, PlayStation is the perfect place.
You're botting out there, Jada.
Yeah.
Xbox, they got them.
Hey, yeah, sorry about being muted earlier. Had to do something for my mom's real quick. But
Nah, go ahead. J-Dub, yeah,
okay.
you were
All right, he's back.
All right, you back?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Just want to let you know. We didn't mean to try to cut you off or anything. Just
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and finish.
I'm good now. Okay, I'm good now. I'm officially leaving the office.
Okay.
So I think again, it did talk about God of War, but any sales or it's not any negative spin of that. It's just, when you drop 2 mixtapes at the same time or some information about your mixtapes, you're gonna have to share that attention. God of War had this week, and then now Spider-Man having this week. And guess what? I'm pretty sure Detroit Becomes Human is going to have its week. So that's just kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. I'm looking forward to God of War. That's coming in a couple of weeks. You got the theme console. People are going to be taking screenshots of that. They're going to be posting it all on social media, making guys jealous and mad for whatever reason. And then we're just going to keep going like we've been going this generation.
Right.
Yeah.
Pablo, go ahead, brother.
I agree with him. It did take some attention off of God of War a little bit, but people also got to realize God of War is coming out before Spider-Man, so it's gonna get its spotlight when it comes out. People are gonna be talking about it, on the release day. So
Mhm.
so I'm not really worried about it. I don't really think about that stuff either. We're getting two fire games, this year. Also with Detroit. So PlayStation gamers are gonna be busy back to back playing games exclusively on their console and stuff. And I don't think I don't think it took away any shine from it that much, really. It's just some games when they get information sent out about a game or something, that's just how it is. The attention is on that game at the time, especially if it's a big AAA game like Spider-Man. So yeah.
We're joined here by Savage Juger. Savage, what's going on, brother? And thanks for joining us. And yeah, I kind of staggered it because I know Gamers United, he's only going to stay for about another 10, 15 minutes. And but
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, no problem. No problem. What do you think about God of War? Do you think the Spider-Man announcement, just from what you've seen on social media, it's just all opinion here. You think it kind of knocked some of the shine off of it? It was like, or is God of War still going to be that freight train we're talking about, tomorrow and into Sunday, stuff like that? What do you think?
To be honest, I don't know. I think right now it'll take away. But when it comes to 12th, when they release the
reviews,
I think it'll get the hype back up, and in a sense, Spider-Man will come back down, and it'll be more about God of War because it's right there. Personally,
that's a good point. And J-Dub, what do you think the early reviews will be?
I think the Metacritic score is going to be in the 90s, maybe 90, 91. I think that's safe to say. It's really hard to get a game to be higher than a 95 these days. That's really kind of unheard of, especially when you have such a massive amount of games that are either coming out or have come out. Now, let's take Nintendo, right? Zelda has always hit 95, 93, 95, 96, 97 on Metacritic ever since the NES days. So that's a given. But, again, Nintendo is kind of special in that, right? You got to realize that you have competing platforms here. You have the Xbox, you have the PlayStation, and you have the Nintendo Switch. So it's going to be really tricky to see how these guys review this game. I'm pretty sure you're going to get somebody who is partial to the nostalgia of God of War 1, 2, and 3 and Ascension. And they're probably, going to say, well, even though the game is great, they're probably going to knock it because it's not those old games. Some people they love the way those old games are, and they don't probably, want to give the new game its honest take. They're always going to compare it to the old stuff. But I honestly think this game going to get a Metacritic in the 90s, the low to mid 90s.
Hey, I just kind of want to piggyback off of what Jay said just now. That I think that's a really big problem in the gaming world today, is that a lot of people when a franchise stays the same for so long, they want to have a change in the game and in the game's mechanics. But once they do the change for the game, then it's a problem again. So people need to decide what they want in their games, because these developers are really trying hard to make these franchises innovative, especially with a game like God of War. It has such a long history. It's been around since the PS2, and those games, I'm not gonna lie, have been pretty similar for the most part in terms of the level design and how the mechanics are structured and everything. So this new God of War, they tore down all the walls, in terms of the gameplay mechanics, and they made a brand new, fresh take on the series. So if people have a problem with this game, like no jump or anything like that, you just gotta kind of rethink about some things. I feel like.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I got you.
I agree.
Anybody in the chat, what do you all think? You all are chatty over there, but yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're chatting, but what do you all think in the chat? Do you think, or do you? First things first. How big of a risk? And this is for the chat. How big of a risk do you think them going from the way God of War is? I guess you want to call it a hack and slash. I don't know what you're going to call it that. To it being open world and all the change that we've seen so far. What do you all think that's going to? Do you think that's a big risk they're taking? Because they're going to alienate some people. It's called doing a burn. If you burn 10% of the base that buys God of War, but you increase it to, because like me, this is the first God of War game I've ever bought. So because I think by the time it hit PS2, I think I had traded my PS2 in and had the OG Xbox. So, but what do you all think in the what do you all think in the chat over there? You think it's a big risk? Is it too risky? Because it is a risk. But all right, we'll move on. Because I know Gamers United, he's gonna be bouncing here shortly. I wanted to really ask you about the whole Spider-Man game. As far as I don't know if you're active on social media and things like that. But let me ask you, are you surprised about the reaction of some people, not all? And does it? Because it seems to me like it's more. It's they're anti-Sony than anything. That's what's coming across to me. It's visceral.
Yes.
There's a visceral reaction to this game. I mean, people got upset about God of War, but everybody knows God of War has been on the PlayStation. Like Pablo, you just said since PS3. Since PS3. So, but Gamers United, what do you think about this? This is as far as what you've been able to see on what some of these people's reactions have been, because they're even tweeting the developer angry, being mad. So Cal, go ahead and take off on that one. What do you think? What do you think about this?
I'll tell you this, man. I ain't surprised that this is happening. It happens almost like every time a new exclusive IP gets announced. I'm gonna tell you what I told you like a year ago, man. We just want it on our platform, not me in particular, but the Xbox, they just want it on Xbox only. They don't want y'all to have it. They salty over that. And the game looks good as fuck. Be real with you. It might be one of the best Spider-Man games they've ever made. I played the old ones on the PS2. Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I think that was on 360. Spider-Man's a huge IP, man. It used to be on both, is what I'm thinking, but I think they're just salty because you got such a big IP coming as an exclusive to this year, and we got like Crackdown 3 to look forward to. Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
No, that flopped. No, there ain't nothing I'm looking forward to, man. State of Decay 2, that's okay. But I haven't really been online on social media to see what people are saying. I've been dealing with my own stuff, but I'm not surprised, man. It's not a surprise at this point that Xbox are complaining about something. They always complain about something, and they got a good reason this time to actually be complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Now the big question is, yes, they're angry. Yes, they're frustrated because they don't have a company that will pull those big deals like that to get a big, huge character like Spider-Man. Yes, they're mad that they don't have the developers that create groundbreaking graphical showcase games for their platform. But here's the thing. Why don't they take that frustration and go to Phil Spencer and ask him for those games and tell him, hey, these are the type of games we want. Instead, they damage control, they downplay, and technically they really shield Phil Spencer from any kind of negativity if you dare ask Phil Spencer for something, the guys will jump you. They will talk about you. They will shun you. They'll give you death threats. You better not talk to their dear leader for whatever reason.
Because he's the savior of Xbox, man.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Just tell the guy what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, they sound more the tweets that I've seen. I can't, because it's not the entire Xbox community. Shout out, there was somebody who has an Xbox, and he did tweet out, "Hey, look, this is a minority of people that are upset, and some of them are PC people that are admitted. I mean, they're admitted PC people. And Insomniac Games is shutting them down. When's the launch on PC? And they said no, it's never coming to PC. Pablo, what do you think about it? Then we'll go to you, Savage.
Okay, so what do I think about people like begging for Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, well, just more or less there's like a visceral reaction to what's happening. So what do you think about that? So,
I think it's a funny situation because I see a lot of these Xbox fanboys, they make fun of us for playing these walking simulators, and now they're here on Twitter begging to get some of these games on their platform. And I'm just thinking to myself, yo, if you bought 5 Xbox Ones and you telling me you don't want to buy a PS4 for Spider-Man, then there's something wrong with you. Because you went out there, bought yourself, like, I don't know how many reiterations of the Xbox they had. They had the Elite, the S, the Mini S, Sex, whatever you want to call it. Like, yo, it's too many Xboxes. Like if you bought all of that and you can't go out of your way to get a PS4 for Spider-Man, then you shouldn't even be playing games, because you own some fanboy shit and you don't even want to support developers, because it takes a lot of hard work to make these games. And you kind of being anti-consumer, really, by not buying a game that you know is going to be good, and you don't want to buy it because you only praising one piece of plastic or something. So it's just mind-boggling to me, man. All you could do is just go out and buy one.
I think they call that corporate slavism.
Yes, exactly.
Corporate slavery.
Now, in the chat, Cycle Gamer, shout out to Cycle Gamer in the chat, he said that people, when I guess Sunset Overdrive came out, that there were people threatening those devs too because it was on Xbox only.
I've never seen that.
Cycle.
I've never seen that.
I don't recall that.
Stop it, Cycle. Stop it.
We can Google it. So somebody wants to Google that, and that's fine. And put the link in the chat. I saw Fatal, if you got a minute, if you can Google that. I'm not here saying that you're wrong, Cycle. But again, and if people threaten them or were saying stupid stuff to them, they should not have. They shouldn't have done it either. I don't know what else to say, So, but
Craig,
all right, Savage.
Craig, I find that hilarious that Cycle said that guys wanted Sunset Overdrive when not even Xbox guys went out and bought Sunset Overdrive. So I doubt people were begging for that game when even the platform that it's on is not even buying the game. So
exactly, and then like a year later, it comes to games with gold for free.
Exactly. So I think that's a reach there, but it is what it is. A W any kind of way you can get, I guess.
Savage, what do you think about? I mean, I'm sure you've seen some stuff on Twitter. Just the visceral reaction. Not that you're interacting with people, but this kind of the reaction you've seen on Twitter for the whole Spider-Man. Just the outright anger. I don't know what else to call it. Some of it was funny at first, but I've seen some of it screenshotted over the last 24 hours. It's just outright hatred. So, but what's your opinion on it? If he's still there. That's for Savage Uber.
Oh, me? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if you were talking to Ian because he just hopped in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll go to him too. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I think it's dumb, and I've seen it or I've heard it about other games with other platforms and stuff like that. It's dumb. I mean, honestly, the easiest fix for it is just buy that platform. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, I can understand for certain people that they only have enough money to buy one platform or something like that. For them, I really have nothing else. Huh?
Yeah.
I said sell your Xbox.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was kidding. I saw a shout out to Red Dragon because he tweeted out that he bought, I guess he's selling or he took it back or something. I don't know if he gave it away. His Xbox X said he really didn't have anything to play on it. And I guess he's getting attacked by the Xbox community now. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but if it's true, that's bad. I mean, he's a consumer. He's got buyer's remorse. And he's taking his back. It's either that or you can play the same games on a PC or get an Xbox One S and play the exact same games with your buddies that are on the X. Ian, thanks for hopping on, brother. What do you think about this visceral reaction to Spider-Man being exclusive to PlayStation? That everybody knows Sony owns that intellectual IP. Like, they own the physical rights to Spider-Man. So they control, even in the movies that he's in with the Marvel characters, they control how long he's in the movie, how many scenes he's in the movie, what he's going to do in the movie. Yes, Kevin Feige's a producer, make no mistake about it. He's the man, but Sony still controls the IP, so it doesn't matter if it's Venom. If you go watch a Venom trailer, the movie Venom, that's a Sony trailer. That's Sony Pictures when it first starts. But what do you think about it, Ian? Just the outright anger and hatred.
I just really think they need to just grow up. To be honest, they're just bitter. It's just get over it. I agree with Savage. If you can afford to get a PlayStation. If you can't, and you really are diehard Xbox, then you're just gonna miss out on it. But if you have the money, buy a PlayStation, even if it's just the standard. You don't have to buy the Pro. But yeah, they're just. You want to strangle them sometimes. You really want to strangle them. It's like, just grow up. They're just like, and it really annoys me because, fair enough, they're just, I just don't know how to answer. You just really want to smack the hell out of them. I'm sorry, they're just so annoying sometimes.
Yeah, here's the thing. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just have something to say.
Yeah.
Why are they upset about Spider-Man? It's a single player only game. I mean, didn't after last year when Phil Spencer said single player games don't sell well, they all jumped on it and said single players are pointless and stupid?
Yo, that's a fact, bro. Oh my God, you just hit it right on the nail, bro.
Those one and done games.
Yeah, they said that about Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's sold like nearly 8 million. So yeah, first don't sell, whatever.
Yeah. So Cycle said to go to some Google thing. Google Cycle, like I said, if people were threatening him or saying stupid stuff, they shouldn't have done it. I mean, but I'm pretty sure that game came out in 2014. Maybe. I mean, that was one of Xbox. I mean, I can't remember if it was in the first 6 months or maybe it came out in early 2015. I don't remember when it came out there being this much vitriol against it. I'm not here saying that stuff wasn't said. There's a difference, though. I mean, I'm not. If it's bad when whoever does it. But ultimately, just. It's silly either way. I'm just trying to figure out what these gentlemen's opinions are. And I agree with Savage. Just go get both if you can. It's a little dissettling because again, Spider-Man is an extremely popular superhero, and there's side marketing with the Avengers movie that comes out in a few more weeks. That's a side market, meaning that you're going to see him in that and ultimately get. Side marketing with Sony that will bring up more stuff about the game. So we'll have to wait and see. And but them, I don't know why. I remember who is the Who was the kind of heavy set guy that worked for Sony? I can't remember if he's gone now or not.
You're talking about Sean Layden or Adam?
I can't remember. Sean. It may be Sean Layton. When E3 was last year. Who hosted E3 last year? Was that Sean Layton?
Yeah, that was Sean Layton.
Okay, people need to go back and watch E3. Watch the Sony press conference. Go to the last 8 minutes and listen to what he says. He said, "Now we're going to show you an exclusive, a true exclusive that will only be on the PlayStation." And then they showed Spider-Man. Okay, yeah. That's the truth. Yeah. So I don't know why Cycle, to me, it's silly because everybody has known that Sony, this is a first-party game. Just like, is it Santa Monica that makes MLB The Show? Yeah. They had to release a statement saying for the Xbox people to stop asking for the game because they make it first-party for the PlayStation. So,
Craig, that shows you the corporate slavery mentality. These guys would rather hound these developers to bring the game on their platform instead of them going out spending $199 and just getting a PlayStation Slim to have access to these games. That you just can't make that up. Phil Spencer and gang has sold you 3 platforms in 4 years, and you still have to beg another company for games. That's distasteful, and I think you guys need to stop it. It's like, just grow up, go buy your PlayStation. If you don't have a PlayStation by now, then I don't know what to tell you. If you're a real gamer, how can you not have a PlayStation by now when all the games are coming on PlayStation, all the big ones? So
yeah, especially if you prefer console. If you're a console guy,
even if you're a PC guy, how can you not own a PlayStation? Because you'll only be playing God of War, Days Gone, the Last of Us, and all these other big games you'll only be able to play those on PlayStation. People act like you can only have one, and that's nuts. You should never just have one.
This is really, I feel like, this thing that happened with Spider-Man is really exposing these Xbox fanboys. They're basically saying that they're really not happy with the games that they're getting. If you just look at what they've been saying, what they've been doing, they're hyped for Hellblade coming to the Xbox, No Man's Sky coming to the Xbox. So that goes to show you that all these games they've been getting, they probably thought it was trash on the inside, really, but they just wanted to hype it up because they're fanboys.
Well, of course they thought it was trash. That's why they didn't buy their games. That's the point, right? That's the number one reason all of their games in the future are gonna cost $10. There's a reason behind that. If you don't buy the games, then they're not going to provide the games, and the games that they're going to provide will be low quality, low cost, and everything else.
No content.
There's a cause and effect going on here. I think the guys don't necessarily care for the games. They just want the bragging rights, and they just don't want Sony to succeed. That's what it is. They're anti-Sony. They're not pro-Microsoft. That's what I think. They're not pro-Xbox. Because if they were pro-Xbox, they would be buying the games. They would have sequels, but they don't. So what does that tell you?
Yeah. Well, I'm just I knew some stuff would be said because, again, before I started doing more video games than movies, I was a big comic book guy. And people who buy Spider-Man comic books, they also have Xboxes, okay? We know this, okay? So the fact that it's not going to every platform is unfortunate because he's, like P3 was saying, he's a very popular character, superhero. With that said, everybody has known since they announced this, I guess, a year and a half ago or something like that, that it was going to be an exclusive game. It's almost like, and I'll say this, it's almost like you guys bought the Xbox X, and because it was the most powerful console, that people were going to just default, people being developers, even first-party developers, are just going to, leave the first-party thing behind and go start developing games on the Xbox.
That's exactly what they thought, Craig.
Yeah, and that's what it seems. I mean, that's my hypothesis. The reason I say this is because a tweet somebody sent Insomniac Games was, I didn't screenshot it. I was saying to you guys earlier, I have no idea how to screenshot that, bring it here, and then it's, I don't know. I know it's Twitter, which is public, but it's a different format. I have no idea what Twitter would say. And plus, I don't know the person, and it wasn't tweeted to me. But the person tweeting, it could have been a man, a woman, it may have been a 10-year-old for all I know, said literally, hey, look, why are you not bringing, you're going to regret not bringing this game to the most powerful platform. That's a tweet from them. So, I mean, to me, the most powerful platform is the one that has the most sold. That's where you want your games to be minimum, you know. There's a reason why Microsoft put their games on PC. That was, you know, Phil Spencer can say, hey, look, we want everybody to play. That's what they're telling you. The facts are they weren't selling enough. They gave them another outlet. Hey, 200 million, whatever PCs are available, if you develop and you just do everywhere, play everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why they went to
let me ask you this,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. The question I want to ask you is, why is it that the system that is not the world's most powerful, why do they have those games that are pushing the hardware to the limit as far as graphical fidelity and gameplay? Why is it that you have those caliber of games on the Pro and the Slim PlayStation, but you have the world's most powerful console and you don't have those type of games on there? Where is all that power going? Or does the power narrative, does that not matter anymore?
Well, the power, and I can look at it now. It was easy to say that won't matter, but now we have quantified evidence that. But first things first, shout out again to Worry Ward, who said to Randall Thor, the man with the million. I think everybody here respects Randall Thor. He said to Randall Thor, if you think a third-party game on the Microsoft system is going to look better than a first-party game on the Sony system, you're mistaken. That's what we're seeing. That's why when they said Detroit Become Human is true 4K, and then they said God of War, I guess a few days ago, it was going to be true 4K. There was another reaction by the Xbox community, like, though we're the only console that can do 4K. I actually saw people say that. And they even said that, and I did that podcast last week, where they said that the box art, on the side of the Xbox, the one, the Xbox X, I'm sorry, they said that was wrong. They said that was wrong. Microsoft never meant to say that. And it's like, it's still on their boxes now. The ones that they
guys, delusional guys, man.
Yeah. And it's like, this is what's on it. I showed it off of the Xbox Wire, and that was from last year. And I said to the guy, I said, okay, I'll stand corrected. Show me the link where Microsoft came out and said this was wrong. He still hasn't sent out the link yet. So.
But I've noticed the developers or Sony actually seem to really I always think, are just so talented, really know how to put the effort in when it comes to developing games. I don't know if Sony, like Microsoft, kind of like has whips out whipping their developers or doing something to them, because Sony ones seem to really manage to the machine's capability, power, and I don't know if Microsoft developers go, oh shit, this game probably won't sell, we'll just do it and make it anyway. But it seems to be Sony's ones, like, they're really got an imagination and they use the power of that machine right to its thing. But with Microsoft, I don't know if they really care that much, because the games they've been throwing out lately haven't really been that good. So I don't know. They just seem to Sony's just seem to have the better kind of developers
quality,
know how to push the juice out for the console to get that quality out. I don't know what the hell is going on with Microsoft's developers.
Well,
they just don't think about it. At PSX, I was there, and Neil Druckmann said it took 10 years for him to build the team that he has, where they can be able to crank out the high quality, steady games that they have. It took 10 years to develop that team. Microsoft, they're trying to buy teams like that, and you can't just buy a bunch of people and stick them in a room and say, "Make me a hit." You can't do that. It takes time. It takes development. Unfortunately for Microsoft, they've divested. They've closed down their studios. They've did the opposite. So, they closed down a lot of their studios and a lot of their development teams, and now they're stuck with the handful that they have, and they can only crank out the Halo, Gears, and Forzas that are of a good quality. Everything else is, look at Rare with Sea of Thieves. They got a Kraken that is not even Kraken. It's just tentacles. And
yeah,
so
let me ask you,
Microsoft has a quality problem.
Yeah, they also, and people got to understand, if you're in that ecosystem, all right, Gears of War is 4K. Gears of War 4 is. Halo 5 is 4K. Again, it's first party, okay? Forza Horizon, I believe, and then Forza the Motorsport 7, that's 4K. Yeah. So again, their first party developers are getting the max out of the machine. It's just and shout out to Jay Fonz, because he said this, a while ago. He said Microsoft is taking a big risk if they're depending on third-party developers to do everything for them, because they like you all said about Doom, that's a dynamic 4K game. And I don't mind it. And again, the other game, Far Cry isn't, but Far Cry doesn't have any extra textures or 4K textures, does it?
And wasn't that the problem? At the end of the last generation, they were relying on a lot of third-party support, and that's when like Sony started dishing out those like really like big exclusives and stuff. Like you had your Uncharted and stuff like that, and The Last of Us. Wasn't that like the problem? Like they were trying to do that like at the end of the last generation, and now it's being shown the light again this generation.
Yeah, well, you're right. They did, and Adam Sessler, before he left the air, and he said that. Years ago, he said something like, "Hey, look, Microsoft has really been dependent on third-party IP, because when was their last first-party IP for the 360? Was it? I can't. It's going way back, but I know they were able to get Final Fantasy 13 came over. They got a not Gears. They got a, my goodness gracious, they got a Metal Gear game, not with Solid Snake, but with Raiden or Raiden, whatever you want to call him. But those were multi-planet games. So, so that's a good point. I don't know when their last first-party IP on 360 came out.
I think it might have been Gears Judgment. I'm not too sure.
Gears Judgment. Okay. All right. Well, again, I like Gears.
That might have been the last one for them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. Well, I like Gears Judgment. I'm in the minority. I liked Halo 4. I'm in the minority. I like Halo Reach. I'm in the minority because it's like people couldn't stand those games. I didn't mind Gears Judgment. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was good. It was a different. You fought the same battles, just with a different team. That was interesting to kind of see their take on what was going on. Same
thing for Halo Reach, man. But sorry for cutting you off, dude. I gotta go. Got some things to do. So I say thank you for letting me on, man. Y'all preaching the good stuff. Y'all letting these nice, fine people out here know what's really going on in the gaming news and media.
Yeah, no doubt.
So y'all keep doing what you're doing. Pleasure talking with y'all. And I'll see y'all online.
Kyle, thanks. Glad you're feeling better. And you take care. You're welcome anytime, my brother.
Thanks, man.
I have to say something about Sea of Thieves with the way it is. Because, it more or less has to do with Microsoft. Because we know that Microsoft, in a sense, has been, more controlling or hands-on with their developers as far as with creative freedom. But Sea of Thieves is what Rare wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
They got creative freedom to do it. If it's going to fail, at least in Microsoft's eyes, what is Microsoft going to do with creative freedom with their studios from now on?
Yeah,
if
I
they
certainly.
see it as a failure, you know.
But they came out publicly, at least they publicly said they're going to keep supporting it. I mean, people to me got to give the game time because I know I played it with Ian, and even when we were playing, I'm like, well, there's enough here for them to build around. It's just a matter of would they be able to keep the hook in people's mouth? Would people stay long enough? Will they keep coming back if they add more content, which is supposed to be free? I know Fatal will. I mean, he'll because he said it. You know, I'm not putting words in his mouth. He said, as soon as they add more content, I'll jump back on.
Well,
So,
to be honest,
yeah.
it's the grind. It's because we took in me, Fatal, and Woofro. We collected like 20 chests. We put them in it, hardly put a dent. So until they change, make it maybe speed it up a bit, people are gonna really get tired of that eventually because you want people to play the game, but if it's taking the ages to get up to that legendary status for your ship and being a legendary pirate, if it's going to take that long, I think people will go, I'm not touching this anymore. So they really need to sort that out with the game.
Do you think one of the reasons why there's so little content might have been because of microtransactions and loot boxes? I mean, because they announced the microtransactions, just like a month or two ago, right? Before the game released?
Yeah, they said
it's coming later.
It was pushed
but
to
what
2 or 3 months after the
after the Battlefront 2 thing happening. What if they took out the loot boxes that they originally were intended at launch, and they were going to announce it at the same time they announced the microtransactions, and that was going to be the content for the launch of the game? Do you think maybe they could have removed
that? Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll say this as far as Star Wars Battlefront 2, it was because it was a Star Wars game. That community is too big and it's worldwide. You can't agitate those people. Had they just said, okay, look, we're going to allow you to buy certain things for the characters, especially through the campaign and stuff like that. And, if you want to buy, make it cosmetic. They were like, you got to do this to get that. And it was wrong. And shout out to Disney for calling EA out. And that apparently that phone conversation was one way and it lasted less than 2 minutes. You're not going to do this. And I guess they just announced that, didn't they just announce that they unlocked everything? So which is good. And
damage is done with that, to be honest. So.
Yeah, the damage is done. It's hurting them on Anthem. Anthem's, like I said, third writer just quit. So I mean, I'm not knocking Anthem, but if you plan on buying Anthem, which I assume a lot of people are, if you buy Anthem, then you're going to be your story. If it has a story, it may not be that good. So then again, it may be great, but the third lead writer, just quit a few weeks ago. Again, that's
not a good sign. That is not a good sign.
Yeah. So I mean, again, they may have somebody else. I mean, again, and people don't want to believe writers leaving and stuff like that. Look at a game like Mass Effect Andromeda. The gameplay is fine. The graphics, besides the Botox in my face is tired, that worked okay. The combat, like I said, was fine, but the story just did not make any sense. And a lot of that was because BioWare did not build the lore of Mass Effect Andromeda. They didn't do it. They didn't have time, and the game got shipped, and it is what it is. It made money, but it was disappointing. So, and we got no DLC. But we'll move on. We'll move on to we've been here a little over an hour. We'll go ahead and go to the dev kit. I know Savage, you wanted to preach on the dev kit for the PS4. Again, if you all don't know, there's been a leak and on what the dev kit is allegedly, and I'm please allegedly. So Savage, go ahead and well, Ian, let me get before he goes in before he talks about it. What is your take on it? On Ryzen and at 20T.
I definitely think it won't be until 2020. The I definitely think it will have Navi, but that's the reason why I don't think it'll be until 2020 because Navi's not rumored to be until next year.
Right.
Early, maybe some people are actually saying maybe middle of 2019. So theoretically, no, I can't see it. But coming when it comes to the T flops, it won't be 20 to 30. The I think the rumored the standard for that graphics card is supposed to be 11 is supposed to be the start off for it. So I can't I would imagine it could be 11, 12, but there's not going to be 20, 30. That's just too much for a console. You'd be the console would be setting fire in your house. So it'd be
Yeah.
worse than a jumbo jet. It'll be like a 5-time jumbo jet. It'd be so noisy the neighbors would be going, "What the heck are you doing?" Yeah, I'm playing games, but it's loud as hell. So no, it won't happen. But I would say 2020, the maybe March, April of 2020. I can't see it being
Okay.
next year because Navi's not officially out yet. So you can't bring a
Well,
console out
March.
with Navi. So
Yeah, February, March of 20 is still fiscal 19.
yeah,
So
I think about March time, but
yeah,
2020, but no, not any time before that. It just wouldn't make sense. Plus, they've got all these awesome games coming out, so they don't really need to launch a new console yet.
I understand. P3, what do you think, brother?
Yeah, so I'm kind of gauging it in terms of like what games will be coming out like within the next year or so. So if you look, I mean, we don't have a release date for The Last of Us 2, but I'm assuming that it's gonna be a 2019 game. And what a better way
Mhm.
to end this generation off with a bang with that game and Death Stranding coming out in 2019 because I think Death Stranding will be a 2019 game as well. And then Days Gone at will probably come out early in the year. So if you have that lineup of games to end the generation off, wow, man, what a great way to end it.
Oh
And
yeah.
then announce the PS-5 for 2020. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I think, and I think some of those games, this is my opinion on Savage. I know you want to get in here on this one. Just real quick, I'll say I think some of those games will be cross-gen. I mean, I think it'll be more, in my opinion, I think it will be more Vega architecture in there with a touch of and let me ask you this, Ian. Let me put this just to think about this, and this is for the panel and for everybody in the chat. Shout out to the people in the chat, by the way. Do you all think with the rapid pack math that it could be like 10.5 or 10, and then they're saying that like they did with the 4.2, they said it was actually with rapid pack math, it could be 8, it could be broken to 8.4. So you think, I personally, this is my opinion. Don't hold me to this. It's just an opinion. Do you all, because again, my source, Lou Wafa, was right about the CPU. He was confident it would be close to the performance of an i5, and which the alleged Ryzen chip they're using. It does some things better. It does some things not as good. The overall, it's still considered better, but it's just a rumor. So again, we're closer to that than i7, the Ryzen chip that's allegedly that they're building off of. But I personally, he was not as confident with the GPU. That's why he said it may be close to a 1060. That was just kind of a throwaway. So, but the first thing people are going to say, if you know about the CPU, about the GPU. So he was 60% sure about the CPU. He was only about 30%. He would go to 30% on the GPU. So, but Savage, you wanted to talk about the PS5 dev kit, and go ahead, brother. Go ahead and take off on it. And what do you think about it?
Oh, what I had to say just more or less had to do with because what was it, last month that they came out with that leak that's saying that dev kits were coming out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It just had to do with me hearing about people in that one article saying that PS5 might be in 2018 or something. Development kits for a new generation of consoles usually are about 2 years, and they go through different iterations. I mean, I even have proof. First dev kits out, which would be what's being sent out right now, is literally they even the like SDKs, the software development kits, they're literally PCs with similar target specs, and that's about it. With the similar type of operating system that's going to be on the console, and that's what they send out. There was actually, what was it, mid 20 or early 2012 or something like that. Somebody sold one of the Xbox One dev kits, and it's literally just a computer tower.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to because I was hearing a lot of people saying that the dev kits are out now, so that means that it's either this year or next year type of thing. No,
yeah.
it's the first iteration of dev kits. And
yes, all right. So you're
that was
saying
really,
that. No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
get with it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're saying they will target a certain thing, and a developer may build a demo of a game up to a certain point. They'll say, "Here's this game running on 8 T-flops. Here it is running on 10 T-flops," and then the person wanting the kit, in this case Sony, they'll say, "Oh, we want this one." Let's just say they choose the 10 T-flop one. Or they could say it's going to be 8 T-flops. I mean, that's, is that kind of what you're saying, that because this is the first iteration?
They can make adjustments, but pretty much whatever PS5 is going to be, the target specs, they already have in mind. Right. But it's like, okay, take Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games was notified about the PS4 Pro, at the end of 2014, I think they said.
Correct.
And so they started development for the Pro version in 2014. But when they were developing on that, they didn't have the SoC for the Pro. They didn't have the dev kits. They had a computer with similar target specs, the same amount of RAM, kind of similar CPU performance, or downclocked or whatever, and GPU about the same on Sony's operating system and with their APIs, and they developed it. That's why when Horizon Zero Dawn came out, that's why Guerrilla Games came out and said, we're not maximizing the PS4 Pro, because they developed the PS4 Pro version on basically a PC with similar tech or specs. They didn't develop for the tech and specific hardware optimizations for the Pro itself. So they didn't maximize the hardware. That's what they meant when they said that.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. I do remember, I think the first game that I saw running with just on the Pro was Rise of the Tomb Raider. I think that was 2016. I don't know if it was summer or fall. Maybe it was fall. I don't remember but I thought that was my game of the year on the PlayStation, because I'm like, yeah, that Pro build, the extra stuff that you can see and stuff like that, the checkerboard at 4K, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, yeah, that's really, really, really nice, so I can understand why. And again, it looked real good on the regular Xbox. I had it on the Xbox One S too, and it looked good on that too. It was optimized on the S. I mean, they optimized it to every, to everybody. The Pro version is optimized. The regular PS4 is optimized.
They really worked on it.
Yeah. So yeah. Well,
Nexus really optimized for the PS4 and PS4 Pro and the PC.
Yeah. And the X version of it, again, I've got it because it was part of Game Pass, and it's really good. I mean, it's the same game, but it's a pretty game. The 4K build is really nice. Especially the first level when you're in the snow. Just the way that HDR, the sun shimmering off the snow, the glistening, that does look really good. It looks brighter than the Xbox version or the PlayStation version, Pro version. It is brighter. So, but yeah, shout out to Trunks in the chat. He said that, I mean, if Red Dragon did sell his Xbox, then yeah, I mean, who knows if he really did? But if he did, and people are attacking him, that's silly. That's all I can say. I mean, I personally, I've got my opinion on those cats, and I agree with what J-Dub said. I think I'm leaning more toward their anti-Sony more than anything, and they believe that by Sony being they believe anti-consumerism is, even though Sony's putting games out, and Sony's putting games out for everybody to buy on their console, they think that's anti-consumer because, like Gamers United said, they want it on their console, and they don't understand why they're not getting the game. So that's just my opinion. That was an opinion. I could say it's a qualified opinion because there's actual qualifying data that we can look at now. But I'll go down the line before we jump on off of here. Pablo, any closing thoughts on what on the dev kit, Doom, the anger of Spider-Man, or the excitement of God of War kind of being like, I agree with you, kind of knock that shine off until you're a good point, Thursday the 12th. Anything else?
No, not really. I said everything I had to say about that. So yeah, I'm good on that front, man.
So yeah, and Andy Hart's right. It should be better on the X. It's more powerful. Yeah, I don't know why that's to me, it's a surprise if it's not. I mean, I think the disparity on what some of the fanboys thought the X was going to provide over, I guess, the Pro is not what they thought it was going to be. With that said, you are comparing something that happened in 2016 to 2017, which is silly. And it's also, and I'll say that the people who are comparing the God of War screenshots to Sea of Thieves, I get what they were doing, but again, that's that's silly. Those are two different kinds of games, So the only game that's similar to God of War is Rise, Son of Rome. It's as far as doing some stuff, swinging and all that kind of stuff. So, what about you, Ian? Any final thoughts, my brother?
I just can't wait for God of War, and Spider-Man's looks really good. And yeah, when it comes to dev kits, there's so much amount they can change. Developers can go to them and say, well, you gave us 8, but I think we should go a bit higher up. So you're always going to get developers asking for a bit more anyway, and Sony will probably, because originally the PlayStation was only going to be 4, the 4th one, and developers go, no, we need more. So that's why they bumped up to 8. So at the moment, I wouldn't, it's too early to talk about specs, but I'm sure it'll be accurate a bit. But as you said, they get multiple kits. So for now, it's a case of just, we'll probably find out more as the months, maybe by next year, we'll probably know more. But people shouldn't get too excited because it's just dev kits. They can change at any time. So I would tell people not to get too excited and going, oh god, it's going to be like 20, 30 teraflops. Just calm down. They get heaps of different models of stuff. So
yeah, Savage is right. Yeah, they get different iterations. And
I don't see
I
don't see what the hype is with PS5 right now, to be honest. There's too many games coming out between now and then, so what does it really matter? I don't care.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Give us games.
Yeah. If it came out right now, they said, "Oh, it's there now. Go get it." They're like, "Oh, we ain't got no games for it, so I'll keep this."
Yeah.
So I think that'll be. Let me ask you all this. Yeah, man, I hate J-Dub had to bounce out. The rumor, and I think it's probably true. Microsoft having deals with CD Projekt Red, and of course, they've already had Madden, but the ones I can think of, they've had Madden, they've had Rise of the Tomb Raider, so it'll be Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Cyberpunk. There were other games on that list, Splinter Cell, which again started on the Xbox. Just what do you all think of this? Is it a good thing? I personally don't care that they have it. I don't care that Sony had it for games. So.
The new Tomb Raider game's actually supposed to come out day one on both consoles, so that one can be crossed off the list for time exclusive. They're both it's coming out for both consoles the same day. So
it wouldn't be a timed exclusive. It's just the marketing rights. So the commercials that you would see would be on the Xbox. When you go to GameStop, when they put the posters up, the Xbox One version of the game will always be in the front, and the PS4 game will be behind it. That's kind of what marketing does. If you walk into GameStop and like Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5, when you walk into GameStop, it's got Far Cry 5 on a banner and it says PS4. Then behind the PS4 it says PS5. It's not a huge deal to me because, like I said, Microsoft had Madden, they had Witcher 3. That's why people are like, they don't hardly have any marketing deals. I'm like, no, they had a few. People forget about them. They had Battlefront or Battlefield 1.
It's kind of wasted time them having exclusive kind of deals and all that because their fans don't buy their games. So what's the point? It's good marketing, but they're not going to go near it. Tomb Raider sales were terrible for Xbox. As soon as the year was up and it went to PlayStation, it sold a lot more. So I don't think marketing helps Microsoft fans. They just go, it's just they're just rather moan about things than actually play. So there you go.
Yeah, Savage Junior, what do you think, brother, about the marketing? I mean, again, I'm not here. I want to make sure people understand. I'm not here hating if they do have the marketing deals because to me it didn't matter who had a marketing deal with whoever. Because now if they were to start getting a bunch of DLC first, if that's what their marketing deal is, and if you're a huge fan of the game, then that may rub you the wrong way. But overall, it's just not that big a deal to me. Go ahead, Sarah. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
To be honest, I don't know if Microsoft would do a marketing deal with something like Shadow, Tomb Raider, Splinter Cell, and Cyberpunk 2077. Because their last exclusive or marketing rights that they did with single-player games did not work at all. I mean, Witcher 3 and Final Fantasy 15, they both way outsold on the PS4. So I don't know.
I didn't know they had Final Fantasy 15. But, I mean, so what did they have is to the best of your knowledge? To the best of my knowledge, they had Witcher 3, they had Battlefield 1, they had
Rise of the Tomb Raider is another one too. Yeah. Sorry.
Tomb Raider, Madden. It's not like they had Titanfall 1. I guess that doesn't count.
Assassin's Creed.
Okay, Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So it's not like they didn't have games already. That I mean, I'm just I'm going to tweet this out. Like, here are the games they already had. So why are people? I mean, again, jumping up and down because they get more. They've always.
Plus, you got that new Metro game as well.
Yeah, Metro. Yeah, they'll.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, good point with Metro. Yeah, so because that will be multiplayer. Yeah, pretty much all the game. A lot of those games they showed at E3 on that console for Anthem. They'll have that. As a matter of fact, they had already announced that. So. So it's not like they're not going to have a whole lot of stuff. They always have. So they had at least 6 games. Let's throw out Anthem and this the games that are out now. So it's Assassin's Creed Unity. I don't know what about Titanfall 2? Was that just a day and day release for everybody?
I think that just came day for PlayStation as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Madden, so they had the major football title because they've got, to me, I look at it like they're marketing the major football title and Sony markets the baseball title. Like, the difference is that Madden is multiplayer, so and the baseball game is not. But so you got them each marketing. What about NBA 2K?
Honestly, I don't pay attention to sports games at all, so I don't even know who has the marketing.
Yeah, PlayStation has like the marketing rights for that, I think. For 2K. Yeah. I
mean, again, I agree with which call. Yeah, I don't. I mean, again, I don't pay attention to that because I just go to the store and buy it. It doesn't. I mean, if marketing said they would give 10% off because we got the marketing deal, that would make a big difference to me. But all right, man, we'll go ahead and start getting on up out of here. I appreciate everybody coming by. Big shout out to J-Dub City. And I know he had to get on the road there, so I appreciate him dropping in. And big shout out to Gamers United. I'm glad he's feeling better, good enough to kind of start podcasting. Thanks for dropping by. And so we'll start left to right here. I'm over here in the chat. So let me left to right. So Ian, my brother, thanks for joining me, and go ahead and shout yourself out, brother.
This is Ian, and yeah, it was really nice to be on and have a good discussion about games, and it was fine to talk with the rest of the panel, and yeah, keep gaming.
All right. Yeah, keep it gaming. Yeah, Savage Juger. Thanks for what you did with the specs and everything, giving everybody kind of a much clearer view on. Yeah, I agree. It's not going to be a 2018, 2019 release. But yeah, I think an announcement in 2020, fiscal 19 for later 20 or early 21. I could be wrong. So, but go ahead, Savage, go ahead and shout yourself out, brother, man. I do appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. You're almost at 700. Congrats on that. 700 subs.
Oh, I have not there yet. Yeah, if I get to 700, I'm gonna do a 25-hour straight streaming podcast. I will. Well, I'll play the Mass Effect series. I'll stream that on Twitch, and then I'll play for 12 of the first 3 games, and then I'll do something else on the PlayStation.
Oh, you need
maybe
to drink plenty of Red Bull.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I'll take my breaks. I'll take a break. Here and there. But yeah, that's my plan for if I get to 700. And I appreciate all the subs and the subs that have subbed, unsubbed, and come back. And appreciate everybody's input, especially in the comment section. Again, I read the comments. So because if you're going to take your time to listen to the video and leave a comment, I look at that as that's good for me. I can't improve anything if nobody leaves. Constructive criticism. If you're saying that it's trash, I probably will just kind of I'll still hit the like button, but I won't comment back. But yeah, constructive criticism is fine. And so let's see here. And damn, is that everybody? Oh, Pablo. I'm sorry, man. The real P3. Go ahead. Shout yourself out.
No, it's all good, man. Yo, I really appreciate being on your show, man. Love talking games with you, man. And the panel was great as well. Love talking to you guys. But yeah, man, you guys check me out on Twitter, Harlem X Poncho. And yo, just keep it gaming, man. And yeah, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. And this is Craig Harris, aka the Messiah of Xbox, aka the guy that tries to call it like it is. And so I appreciate everybody coming. This was the 3 o'clock happy hour podcast. Shout out to the 50, 60 people that came in. I do appreciate everybody being here. Big shout out to Foxy Games for again months ago telling us, breaking the rumors of the PlayStation 5 and what it could possibly have. So shout out to him. Shout out to Porter Rock 77 too as well. He's still keeping his tweets going. Shout out to everybody that came here. Gamers United, thanks for coming by. Again, J-Dub City, appreciate you, brother. And just shout, keep it gaming, guys. I appreciate you all being here. OBJ, yeah, OBJ is right. Sea of Thieves is trash, is what he's saying. So, but yeah, Ian and Savage, Pablo, man, thanks for coming, brother. And who knows, you may hear me later on tonight on some podcasts. You may not. I'll be home though. I may start a Mass Effect Andromeda stream. Everybody wants to jump on there and hang out for an hour or two. And if not, you all take it easy. Go out and just keep it gaming, guys. Keep it gaming. If you go out tonight, it's Friday, so wear white. Peace.
Later.